Ooh, boy. Damn. Damn. Hey, y'all. Look at Stephen A. Smith headline. Hey, man, this motherfucker, this motherfucker look like Red Skeleton off of Captain America. This man look like the Red Skeleton. Like, damn, man, cut that shit off your head, Stephen A. Smith. Cut it off, man. But, okay, I don't want to digress. Okay, so I got a request from a subscriber, and he asked me to talk about the Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock debacle. Okay, so here it is, man. Jason Whitlock responded back to Stephen A. Smith. And, I felt like the podcast, Jason Whitlock always credits himself like, man, I do everything with facts. Well, I mean, in his response to Stephen A. Smith, he didn't have a lot of facts. And I don't even think he really bothered to go get the facts. Okay, number one, okay, he was saying that, Stephen A. Smith, he said, well, I don't think Stephen A. Smith played in any games because he only said he played in one game and averaged 1.5 points a game. So Jason said, well, how do you play in one game but average 1.5 points a game for the season? And I thought to myself, this dude is a trick. He's a virgin. And he's stupid. He said he was bad in math. Say he real bad in math, and I believe it. Okay, so Jason, why am I even going over this? Stephen A. Smith was hurt part of the season, and it depends on when he was eligible to play and how many games were left in the season. And it also depends on how many points he scored in that one game. If Stephen A. Smith scored a high volume of points in that one game, or if he scored enough points in the game, okay, and then whatever games left that he's actually eligible for, that's how they get the average of the points that he can score in the season. So let's just say if he scored 15 points in a game and there are 10 games left. You divide 15 divided by 10. Let's say he's healthy. He sits the bench, but he don't get to play, but he's healthy. That goes into your average, okay? 1.5 points a game. That's how you get a season average. They take the number of points you scored and they divide it by the number of games that you were actually eligible to play. I don't even understand why the hell I'm breaking this down to somebody like Whitlock who's supposed to be intelligent. Now, I don't think he all that intelligent. And then the second thing that Whitlock tried to do, he tried to discredit this woman, Dr. Marilyn Roseboro. Dr. Marilyn Roseboro had a 31-year career at Winston-Salem State University. She had a 31-year career. She was a tenured professor for that long at that university, and she retired from Winston-Salem in 2011. Okay? And after she left Winston-Salem, she went on to be a educational consultant for Rainbow Education. Okay? She's a stroke survivor. She had a stroke shortly after she retired from Winston-Salem, and she is the poster girl for the American Heart Association. They plaster her all over her website when they talk about strokes, and they have Stroke Month. And I guess every so often in the country, we'll observe, Heart Attack and Stroke Month. And she's always plastered. So she's always plastered on their little posters. Okay, and she's actually a donor to Winston-Salem State. Every single month for the last 31 years, this woman, and she still does it now, okay? She gives anywhere from between $500 to $1,000, okay, monetary support to Winston-Salem. She's done it for over 30 years. So you got to think that, that kind of adds up. That kind of adds up over time, okay, if you're giving that much money. And to me, for a professor at HBCU, that's a lot of money, okay, but she annually gives to the university. Dr. Roseboro was one of the most heavily sought-out professors in the country at one point in time. She had a multitude of PWIs trying to recruit her away from Winston-Salem State to work at their universities. Man, she turned the money down. This would have been like a huge pay increase, but her dedication to making the HBCU system the best that it can be, that was her main drive. How does Jason Whitlock not know this information? He talking about, you can't really find anything about this woman. Yes, you can. This is Black history right here, okay? This is one of the people that you need to be talking about when it's Black History Month. Well, matter of fact, Black History Month is every month for me. But this is somebody you need to highlight when they start talking about, Black professors and Black professors who they've made a difference. They've made a change. Okay, this woman was heavily consulted when the university wanted to make any necessary changes, they consulted with her first. I mean, they actually had her in the meetings with the damn chancellor, the vice chancellor. She was in those meetings too when they started talking about the future of the school. They consulted with this woman. This woman now is an educational consultant, still doing her thing at age 73. Why does Jason Whitlock not know this information? See, I think Jason Whitlock, I don't think he really cared to know any information, because his whole narrative was to discredit Stephen A. Smith, to prove that he's a liar. I don't think Stephen A. Smith lied about anything. And I think the man know, okay, when he got hurt. And I think the man know how many points he scored. I think he know. So, I mean, I don't even understand why he would lie about that, because, you know, the internet is undefeated. You can find out anything you want to find. And Jason Whitlock was saying, well, I can't find any stats on that game or anything. Well, okay, so Jason, welcome to the HBCU system. I got to take a sip, boy, to explain this one. Welcome to the HBCU system, okay? HBCUs for a long time, their record keeping and bookkeeping is terrible. The way they handle money is terrible. And I'm going to tell you the story. My uncle, he went to Winston-Salem State University, okay? Did some time in jail. He got out, worked for a while, and then it hit him like an epiphany a couple of years ago. We rode up there, and because he wanted to go and finish his education, you know, because he only had one more semester left until he could be done with Winston-Salem. So he went up there to the school, and he asked, could he get his transcripts? You know, can he get his transcripts, and could he talk to an academic advisor? When they enter my uncle's name into their system, there was never a recollection of my uncle even being at the school. There was no recollection. They couldn't find it. Winston-Salem State could not find my uncle's information. Ain't that something? My uncle went there for 3.5 years, had one more semester to graduate, and Winston-Salem could not find. Listen to what I'm saying. They couldn't find his information. So my uncle was mad. He cussed him out. You have to understand that in the 90s and in the late 80s, okay, a lot of HBCUs still wasn't doing things electronically. Winston-Salem State, literally, back in the late 80s and early 90s, they wasn't doing anything electronically. You know, they used to keep student information in these folders. They used to keep them in these large drawers. And you would go back there, and the person working in the office at Winston-Salem State, they would have to go pull up a CUME folder, take that CUME folder out, and then, you know, they would produce a transcript off of that. Okay, no. Well, now that Winston-Salem State, they're more modernized now, okay? They're doing everything electronically. Somebody had to be responsible for internet data into the computer. And let me tell you something, at HBCU, they're not doing that. They took all those folders, they took all that information and these records from these kids from back in the 90s that was in their system. That information is sitting inside some facility on campus. It's sitting there. And nobody's going to go in there to try to dig up that old information from 25 years ago. They ain't finna do it. And my uncle was pissed, and rightly, and as he should have been mad. He should have been pissed, royally pissed. But they can't do nothing about it because the system changed. And, you know, at HBCUs, they do a lot of stuff lazy. And I'm not sitting here hating and trying to, you know, downgrade and denigrate these HBCUs because I know they have enough problems already. But the way that they do stuff, man, they do stuff, you know, half-ass or bass-backwards. And so my uncle was in there, you know, and I'm trying, Unc, let's go. You know, we'll go home. And so what my unc had, you know what he had to do? Unc had to go home and get one of his latest report card. Now, mind you, this man found this report card from 25 years ago. And he showed him that report card. And, you know, it had his educational track, had the amount of credits that he already earned. He had to show him that, and they had to re-enter his name into their system. They had to enter his name into the system. They had to put, but, you know, they lost all the other information. They lost his high school information. All that stuff's gone, okay? It's there on campus somewhere, but they're not going to go dig up all that stuff. They ain't finna do it. That's how HBCU. So when Jason Whitlock was talking about, well, I can't find any information on basketball with him back in the late 90s or the early 90s. I can't find that information, or the 80s. No, especially in the 80s, they ain't finna turn that. It's not there. Like, ain't nobody, filming no HBCU games when they played each other back in the 80s. Unless these people played against a PWI back then, schools like Winston-Salem State, they didn't get airtime. Okay? And the video probably somewhere. It could be somewhere in the school, but the damn, the game that Stephen A. Smith played in is so damn old, like probably close to 30 years ago. No HBCU record keep like that. They're terrible. They're horrible at record keeping. So whatever film they had, it's not there. And I'm telling you, the brother didn't play on TV. This Winston-Salem State. They ain't playing on no damn TV. A Division II HBCU? Back in 84, 85, 86, 89? No. Hell no. No. You're not going to find that information unless somebody took a video of it. That's it. Welcome to the HBCU system, Jason Whitlock. That's how they run shit over there. Now you go to a PWI, they can find what you want. They can find anything you want because they know where it is. And they kept accurate records at a lot of these PWIs. They kept the records and they entered all their information into a database. And of course, when PWIs first started, knowing that, hey, we're going electronic, they had systems that, they can take the paperwork and just scan it in. Nobody had to sit there and type this shit in. They scanned it in. So you go to a PWI and you ask them, for your records, and they can pull it up at the touch of a button. Winston-Salem State can't do that. If you didn't enroll in Winston-Salem when they moved everything over electronically, you shit out of luck. So that's why Jason Whitlock, you can't find any video footage of Stephen A. Smith actually physically playing. You can't find any stats, okay? Because back then, did any paper publication take stats of an HBCU? A lot of times, if it was a CIAA tournament, yeah. Okay, but Stephen A. Smith ain't playing on CIAA tournament. Okay, if it's a big game, they kept stats, but most HBCUs in the 80s, ain't nobody that keeping stats for these people. Not really. Not no real stats that, is going to be leaked out. And I'm just saying, that's just what it was for Winston-Salem State. There's a Division II black school. The records are going to be all fucked up. Well, Whitlock know this, or maybe he don't, I don't know. I tried to embarrass the man and try to say, he didn't play. I'm pretty sure he did play in that one game. And I'm pretty sure he scored enough points to average 1.5 points. Like, it's inevitable. And it don't even matter, okay? It don't matter because neither one of these two were successful in going pro in the sports that they say they loved and played. Jason Whitlock never went pro. And Stephen A. Smith never went pro. But I get where Stephen A. Smith coming from. After a while, you just get tired of somebody trying to just always tear you down. You get tired of that. And so you retaliate, and that's what he did. He retaliated. And that's not to say that, Jason Whitlock going to keep his name out his mouth. I mean, no, that's not to say that because he might not. Jason Whitlock might do another whole tirade attack on Stephen A. Smith. Okay? But that's all Jason Whitlock got. Okay? Jason Whitlock is a master at pushing people's buttons, and he loves to do it. He loves to do it. He'll be the only person. You can cuss him out, take his video footage. He ain't even report you because Jason Whitlock is a professional troll. He's a professional troll, is what he is. Man. But I tell you this, though. He's going to start a beef with Shannon Sharp. Okay, I can tell you now. Every time that there's a successful black man, here comes Jason Whitlock that'll say something to tear him down. I shit you not. Every single black man that's done anything, Jason Whitlock will tear it down. Because that's how he feel. See, he's got to appease the right wingers that's on this channel. He got to appease these people. You got to appease them. You got to make them happy. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get on out here. But thank you guys for listening. And Stephen A. Smith, cut that shit off.